Get some tarot reading done. I'm in a weird place, people. It's true. Justice and the Wheel of Fortune. So I'm just gonna read the cards. I'm not gonna this is my first time attempting doing some tarot reading for a while now. I've just been kind of absorbed in the madness of the world. The Fool reversed and the Queen of Swords. I think it's what I've been wanting to speak about, something about the dynamic, how men hate independent women, or that's what it seems like. The thing about it is I don't think it's about independence. It's more about it is about independence, but not in the sense of not needing a man or whatever like that. It's about them being their own person. It's Queen of Swords, right? So it's more so about recognizing them as their own person. And men haven't come to that edge yet. They haven't figured that out within themselves. Yet. Page of Wands. Reversed. It's like a journey that hasn't been undertaken yet, right? That's yet to be walked. Because we don't actually have the integrity within ourselves to do that. It's sounding very anti-man, but I tell you, it's not. It's this is what I want for us. It's just we're not seeing that. Not seeing it because the patriarchy thing. It's actually like a failure on men's part because we're the ones that are supposed to lead, right? Or are leading. There is a patriarchy, right? It's just that we're not including the whole picture in it, because society would be a lot different if we actually did that. If we actually stood up and said, hey, this isn't the correct structure for society to be effective, for both of us, right? So it's not a patriarchy, not a gynocracy. It's like somewhere in the middle, right? Balanced. This is the whole thing about is like two of rings, four of wands, and the eight of cups. Four of wands reverse, eight of cups. There's nothing left. There's no authenticity left in the household, in the marriage, right? It's not about that anymore. Not about building. It's like it's one-sided. It's one-sided. So, I mean, it makes me really upset, I'll say, if I'm to share. Like, it makes me kind of like ashamed to be a human right now. Because, like, at the end of the day, right? This has a lot to do with, like, men's desire. Because we're following our desire, right?
You're okay? You heard a big bang. It wasn't you, was it?
No, I thought somebody threw something at the front door.
That's what I thought too, right?
It was the front door. Maybe. Or maybe there was like the door was open or something and it just closed. Three of Cups. I got all these other cards over here too. This is like my first time reading in so long. I'm very rusty. And a little bit lost inside of myself. Three of Cups, the Hanged One, the Lovers reversed. I think it's talking about relationships, like past relationships, and how like we're not seeing how none of them were actually like authentic love, or they weren't like real, based out of like real admiration for each other. I'd say as the sexes, right, throughout history. Because if you look back, there's reasons why the patriarchy's here, girls, and it was like has to do with like it's the Fool and the Page of Wands back again. The Seven of Moons this time. Fool and Page of Wands reversed. Seven of Moons. This is Seven of Moons is lost too. I think this is where we're like lost in like old ways, old patterns. Yeah, this is what the men are holding on to, right? It's like they want like a 50s wife, basically. And they keep making that reference. Look back to the past and blah, blah, blah. It's like, you can't do that. You can't put the Queen of Swords back in the box, guys. That's just not going to be how it works. I've mentioned this before. Mm, But yeah, that's just not gonna work. We have to evolve. There's another fool with the Eight of Pentacles reversed, being led astray. Yeah, feels like towards that kind of like, my God, every time they put the dog outside. Every time. I wonder if you can make this thing blink. There's a blink button. That would be cool. Maybe it's already doing that. It is already doing that. It's already blinking. The light over here is, I can turn that to a like more calmer color there. There we go. This feels like jumping off a bridge type of thing. It's like people jumping off a cliff. We all follow the last fool off the cliff, right? So this is all talking about old energy, old ways, and not seeing or missing the point. Three of Cups. It's like being born into a perspective, a reversed perspective around love. We see Three of Cups as somewhat of a birth, giving birth to something, right? Six of Cups. All right. The world's reversed. Nine of Wands reversed. Huh. I don't know what to say about it. Five of Swords reversed. And Death reversed. Fundamental misunderstanding? Ah. I think it's trying to say that love is actually like cold in a way. It's like undying. It's undying. It transcends the confusion that the world has like placed upon it. It never ends. What a crazy draw, actually. Because the Nine of Wands is the Nine of Wands reversed. That's the coldness, right? That's like the undying nature of it. It's cold and everlasting, merciless, we'll say. Love is the mercilessness of the universe. Some kind of secret message here for y'all. There's the Nine of Swords reversed. Ten of Wands reversed. Hmm. Something to do with one's ego. You've got the Strength sideways here. On the floor with the star. Whatever that's about. All these are from the same deck. There's another one. Two of Moons. Sideways. There's only two there, right? Yeah. Excuse the hair. Just getting back into this. I gotta get a haircut. I feel like this is saying that it's hidden behind the work. Behind all of it, that's what's covering it up. It's the fact that you have little to no choice in the matter. It's not the work. Is there more? Strength. It's like being held back, held from you, or you're holding yourself back. It's the Nine of Rings here. Reversed. Where does this go? Because that's like burying. You bury it. Oh. Things don't feel right. Like it's a mistake that you don't remember making. The mistake is the ego. And that's the thing that's being withheld from us. That's why our destiny's so fucked up or gone sideways, right? The star sideways. That's why our path has been like obscured. Because we bury everything that we've done, every malicious thing that we've done out of bad faith. Two of Moons. We bury it inside the ego. That's hard to break out of. It's hard to climb out of. But it's not impossible. So that's the thing that we got to come to terms with in the society here. Is that like it's a choice. It's a hard choice to make, hard choice to admit to, I'd say. But we have to make one or we're making the other one. you make one by integrity or by apathy. It's like kind of the thing that happens, which is what is the source of the injustice in the world, is the apathy, not caring about that point. Exactly. The Empress reversed. That's why we don't see any Empresses, dudes. That's why. It's because we're allowing it that way. This is the kind of it's so fucked up because as much as I want to like be on the men's side and yada yada, like go team men and all that crap, right? We built the world and shit, but it's like we didn't do a good job or not well enough by the evidence, right? And you may say like, who's the plain old person, the regular person, like what kind of difference are they gonna make? What difference can I make? Is the question you ask in the grand scheme of things. And we tend to like lash out and point fingers. That's the problem that affects us as the ego point. My dog is outside. But we don't participate in any of the larger solution to that. Part of it is that it's like taking on the self, taking on the ego, removing the hate from yourself, basically, for your fellow man and woman. But it's also about standing up in some way. You ask those questions, and it's like, look at what I'm doing. You do something, right? As much as you can. I'm like, I'm in a shitty place myself. And I'm still like, all I can think about is like getting up and trying to get to act to a place where I'm satisfied with myself again, right? Six of Wands, Ten of Swords. I see. It's the King of Cups reversed. Six of Wands, Ten of Swords. Right, because like that's what happens when you're so full of yourself, thinking that you're like the most logical being and blah 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 blah. You think you got it all figured out. You're like patting yourself on the back, like good performance, man, good performance. And it's like, well, if you're not keeping up with the times, or you're not yeah, that's a stupid fucking mentality to have because the King of Swords reversed. It's a stupid mentality to have because like look at what just happened with all those files that got released, right? It's like we accept and allow this world to exist in that state as the conglomeration of men do that, right? And you're like, how do we fix it? How do we fix it? It's like we are trying, but we just don't know about like certain things, right? We don't know how it all fits together in a complete scope. I don't even know, but I'll say this: what it took to learn this tarot thing. I had a male friend ask me like, "Can you explain like how you do the tarot and like what the cards mean and blah blah blah?" And I'm like, it's got me stumped. I started doing some of it, and it's like it's so like half the time I don't even know. But that's part of it. It's like knowing is not knowing sometimes. Knowing is not knowing sometimes. Exactly. Knight of Cups upright, Queen of Swords reversed, right? There's different languages. Logic is not the only language, man. So that's why we have so much trouble is because we're speaking in different languages. And the thing about the emotional one is that men have to lead. So you have to be the one to like take up that challenge in essence. It's like they're not going to do that, you know? That's just not the way that they're programmed to be. So it's like as the man, as the male, as the logical thing to do, if you think you're so logical, you have to actually take up that mission, take up that quest to like decipher your own emotions, things that drive you emotionally, that cause you not to be clear within yourself, right? Clarified. So that's how you can lead a woman to understanding herself logically. Because, like, if you can do it, if you can go into their realm and stand as an emotional creature, as an emotional being who has their emotions, like, figured out in such a way, and that's what they'll be looking for someone speaking in their language to lead them logically, to show them how the logic integrate with the emotions, right? Fully. I'm not there yet either. So it's a long process and you have to take self responsibility. You have to like be self honest along the way. Because it's like so many things, so many points to cover, so many opaque, everything is opaque. You can't see something until you've cleared away the other thing, right? One of them is being that, like I said before, that logic isn't everything. You can't like figure this out through logic. It's not going to be the way it is. It's the same with emotions. You're not going to figure it out through emotions either. There's the Ten of Swords reversed again. Right. Priestess Emperor reversed. Five of Swords reversed. Exactly. It doesn't make sense to men. It doesn't make sense. What is it? What is it? It's like it doesn't make sense to men, the depths of irrationality that women can actually comfortably sit within. Right? So that's where you have to go. You kind of have to go in that direction because, like, no man is like taking that on, right? The emperor is reversed, right? They're not standing in that space at all to be able to like stand up to it right now, currently. Oh my gosh. This is about women too. Because women aren't thinking about it. I think these are what they think the solutions are in some respect now, because like the women don't realize that behaving in this manner isn't independence. That's not clear to them. The thing about you have to realize, people, is that we're all codependent. You're codependent on the fact that you need the system on Earth to survive the physical systems, right? Men think that if they just be nice to women, show affection or show like what, these are confused emperors, right? They don't see the depths of it and they don't understand the depths of it, right? How little judgment women place on on logic systems. How little emphasis. And that's what comes out, right? When they don't understand that, they come out as like Knights of Cups. And then the women come out as negative Queens of Swords. Maybe something else here. I'm gonna have to like edit all of these down. All of these down because there's too much dead space apparently. I don't speak in the right cadence for the internet. I'm gonna upload the whole videos to my Grinchy channel, and then the rest of them I'm gonna make another channel that posts all the edited stuff that's edited down and like polished more. I got this good sound and all that crap, right? So the 2 of Wands, 7 of Swords ends the sun. Exactly. Right. Right, because this is about experience too. The sun. So what's to be shown? What needs to be shown, or what's the actual truth is behind it, or the solution, really? Maybe not solution, but the truth behind it is that it's not what you think that matters. It doesn't matter what you think. 7 of Swords reversed. It's what you do. The 2 of Wands, right? That matters. It's the choices that you actually practically walk through that matter. And it doesn't matter what you think you are, right? What sort of mental orchestra that you're playing inside of your mind. It's what you do. So it's the same with men in terms of all this stuff that's going on in the world right now. It's like we actually actively have to get up and do something about it, men. Like we can't just say be keyboard warriors and say all PDFs need to die or whatever, right? Like that's not going to do shit. We have to actually like make the world stand up and make the world a place that's safe for women. And then that's when you start to see like they're always going to be following. Like I don't know who I'm talking to here, but they're always going to be following, right? Like women are going to hate that shit, but like that's what they want. And it's like don't fucking argue with me about it. It's like you want like a dude that's like as close to complete as possible, right? Like that's what you would prefer. That's the preference, right? If you have to work with a guy and it's like he has potential and you're like a Knight of Stars, right? Knight of Stars, he's on his way. Something that you could see going somewhere. 3 of Cups, right? Toward just a family, a system of marriage, right? That's what you're looking for is like dudes that are moving forward in their life. And if the system was set up in such a way where more men could have that ability, and it's like we all know it's the opposite. We all know that it's like a shrinking percentage of men that are able to put in those positions, and it's like that's why all this shit happens. And we can sit and complain about exceptions all day, right? But the fact is that en masse, most men don't qualify, right? And then they just argue online, but it's not going to change the fact that women are going to go after men that already have something going on, you know? So it's just that those proportions of men are actually losers. 6 of Cups because they've managed to position themselves inside a world that's broken and tilted to their advantage, I'd say. It's the winners in this system that are actually the losers because they're the ones that are beating up and raping women. I'm sorry, graping women. Fucking YouTube. Like, you can't speak about facts. That shows you right there that the system's fucked up, right? You can't even say the actual word, right? That's showing you right there that we're not doing enough as the larger conglomeration of men. The amalgamated man. Five of Wands, Eight of Moons, Ace of Swords. Hmm. Right. Can you talk about that? Why they do that? Yes, and the point being for women is that, like, that becomes a dark fantasy within their psyche, right? Within their mind. It becomes a dark fantasy, the chaos, right? The powerlessness, Five of Wands reversed, or helplessness, right? Because that's kind of like built into the DNA thing. Like, you think about it, and it's like, why you can try to override it, but I just don't see that working on a grand scale. I just don't see, like, men not, like, settling into a position of being like I don't know what what we're going for here, because, like, if you think about it, men and women not cohabitating or not being together, or not, like, choosing to be in couples and stuff like that with each other. It's like they'll be just, I don't know, they'll just be like lesbians and gays, and or people being single, right? And I don't know where I'm going with this, but, like, it's like asking a man not to provide is like and protect and stuff like that in his DNA. It's just the same with women, kind of like liking chaos. Liking the madness, right? Having like a predisposition. I feel like the Eight of Moons is almost like your DNA, like a helical something. But yeah, anyways, that could also be seen here as in these, like, this is the failure point, right? The losers and the failure point that leads towards those sort of, like, something that we're missing too. These knights missing from their idea of marriage, right? They're not taking that into account, perhaps. What am I saying here? If you even think about it, if you go back in time, Four of Wands, that's part of the whole picture, part of the whole household. Like, to make a successful household, you need to bring that kind of excitement into a woman's world, right? If you go back into, like, previous times, like caveman times, right? who knows how it was, but like I'm just guessing that if where it's stemming from, it's like you had to you women were reliant, that they were dependent on men at that point for survival, right? Because we had to go out and hunt and get it and bring it back, and the dangerous part, right? And part of that also is protecting you from other bands, other tribes of humans out there that were like, I don't know. I don't know how it went, but they had to protect you, and part of that is fighting other men. So you got to see that. You got to see that, and it's like you got to see the raw violence that a man would go through to like gain access to you, right? And as much as it's in our the best interest of the male to do that, to like fight and be violent towards, the thing is that they want, so it's like they got to see that, and if their man, if their man so tragically was killed in battle with another man, then they had to have some kind of like, it's as a evolutionary trait, evolutionary biology. they they're gonna look at the man that killed their man and go, oh my god, he's stronger than my man was, right? So it's like no fault of theirs. It's just that that's the way that it works. It's like the women are looking for the strongest male at that point to help them survive and thrive in this world. And it's like that's not a bad thing. That's nature, right? That's like there's nothing evil within that. It's just how it works on the biological level. If you want to put labels onto things like that, that you could see, that you could say that that trait is evil in some way. Like that's what we like place upon it as like a good, bad, a dualistic thinking natured man, right? Where we think in terms of ego and what's like better or worse and all that shit, right? But like in reality, what would you want? You'd want the best option always for going forward, right? It's just the fact that currently that's construed with lots of different other things in society that we've placed value on in terms of an egoic way of thinking. So it like gets mixed up with like money, all these other ideas of what success looks like and what everything looks like. Oh, he's a badass and he's a criminal, and that's like they want the capability. You need to be capable of a lot of things as a male nowadays, right? It's not just club the other guy over the head anymore. So much so that for women, it's just totally on feeling, right? You can't explain why or why not. It's just a feeling. That gets you into a lot of trouble. They want you, the men, to be capable of doing harm and damage and being ruthless and dying for them, essentially, at the end of the day. Um, Capable of it, willing to do that is part of it, right? That's like what that's the triggers. Obviously, if you survive, that's better. But if the other guy gets you, then that's hard lucks, buddy. he was just a he was just a better model, you know? So fortunately, we don't necessarily have to do that to the same extent nowadays, but it's the Emperor reversed. But it's different now. It's all like yammer yammer. All the dudes are just talking shit mostly, and that's what it comes down to. And we hide behind things like there's no honor in the it anymore, or at all really. The competition. It doesn't even need to be that way, to tell you the truth. But Page of Swords and the Two of Stars. Yes, you need to learn to say no to these men. Basically, because like they're not honorable. That's where the problem comes in, women, is that if you fall for what looks like a lot of these men, they're using that exact same thing that I just told you to trick you into giving up your hoo-ha, you know? It's just to get into your pants, girls. That's all. So, and to use you. So, that's pretty simple. And if you let them do that, then you can't make the argument that, like, men are rapists and yada, yada, yada. Because, like, these are the ones that are the rapists. Not every man's raping, you know? It's just the it's hard to say, honestly, girls, because like I come up to a lot of things within myself, things that I've done in the past. Like you could say that watching porn is rape in a way, right? So like majority of men under that category would be rapists, right? Because it's a system in society that is not conducive for beneficial growth of anybody. It causes harm on both sides, right? Because the men are falling into a mental trap, and it is like unsolicited sexual energy projected mentally, spiritually, mentally out towards these women that it is unsolicited, even though they're getting paid to do that. It's like those women are coerced in a system of patriarchy to like sell themselves. Like that's the thing, is that we've got it all messed up from within this economic model where there's symptoms. The pornography industry is a symptom of this economic model and unhealthy male minds, right? So the only way we're gonna get past that is like if we stand up and learn to like forget about that, learn to turn that off, learn to say no to being fucking horrible men, really. And I'm not saying all men are. obviously, if you know, and if you're working actively towards it, then these messages aren't towards you, you know? Like I'm trying to reach out to men at the same time and say we have to do better than this. And it's like not about pointing fingers at the women because the women are following us. They're just becoming us, if you noticed. Like that's what the whole thing is about. It's like in the system of patriarchy, the women are going to become men, right? Bad men. So you can't blame them for doing that. Like we're allowing it as the men, right? We have to lead them out of this fucked up system that we created to make them into this thing that we're complaining about. Essentially, it's like the only reason why we go and say, "Hey, we women aren't the way they used to be," and blah blah blah. It's like back then in the 50s, they didn't have a choice, right? The trick about all this is that like everybody needs to maintain their choice in the matter. It's just like we need to be clever as the thinking ones, right? As the logical ones, we need to be clever about how we're going to get to that position, how the system is going to represent everybody, you know? I think that work should be optional. I think you don't need to work, especially now in this time period where everything can be automated. It's like everybody's like, "Oh, it's gonna take my job. It's gonna take." It's like, good, you know. Fuck it. Like let's make them do everything. Make automation do everything as much as we possibly can, so that we don't have to fucking so we don't have to like worry about that shit. Like in our lives, we can live again, right? Everyone's complaining, I have to work 3 jobs, blah blah blah. Like that's what you're fighting for. Like ridiculous, right? Like what are you guys thinking about? Like, why is everybody thinking that way? Makes no sense to me. Makes no sense. I'm like looking at the microphone, like, why? It's got this little smiley face on it. Oh, it's the fucking Emperor again. It's the same cards. 2 of stars again with the chariot. Let's make this happen, right? What the hell is going on? How did all that shuffling and I end up with the same cards there? All right, we got a lot here. I don't know if I'm gonna pull those ones. We got Temperance on sideways. A bunch here. There's a bunch down here too. Wheel of Fortune and the Four of Wands again. The Wheel of Fortune was on the bottom before. Knight of Pentacles. The Chariot now instead. This is how to stabilize it, or this is the choice. Star here. Knight of Moons. 10 of Moons. And the Temperance. Wheel of Fortune. Reversed. With the Four of Wands reversed. Ah. Hmm. This is talking about establishment. This is how they've eluded, outrun our ability to like stop them. I think it's saying basically it's just distractions and stuff like that mainly. Something that never existed. Yeah, it's like getting you all worked up and pointing you in the direction of like a household that was never actually like we've never actually experienced it before. Like the 50s thing is an idealization. Like we're idealizing that because like as men, it's like the women were easy and easy, more easily, supposedly easier to control, but allegedly, but it's not true because you're only looking at it from one side, from the male side, right? The solution is really you need to stabilize the finances. Like you need to stabilize the monetary, the money. Like the money has to be slow and steady, essentially, instead of like how it is now, where it's like all over the place and everything is different, and this and that, and this and that, and it's like you can never trust it because it's always going up and down in value and stuff like that. It's like the inflation, and inflation is the problem, really. Need to take a break. But yeah, we need to stabilize the money. Why is that? Queen of Moons, King of Swords. The full moon. Three of Wands. And the Five of Stars. Something that can't be left out. What is it? Hmm. Lots of fives. Queen of Swords there. I think this is like as a male. This is about letting go, letting go of letting go of forgiving or letting go of negative thoughts, right? And of like putting time into thinking about women's lack of accountability, right? How they don't want to deal with it and it makes them crazy, irrational. We have to like get over that point as the men, right? That's something that we need to like come to terms with. So you just have to like do the accountability for them to start with. Make it easier anyway. Get past what we can't seem to get past, right? We can't seem to get to the whole picture. It's like why men think women don't care about them. It's because you seem to think that their lack of accountability or the not wanting to engage with the accountability is a sign of them not loving you or something like that. But you have to like get over that point or forgive it as the male, right? The Queen of Moons reversed and the King of Swords up there. Then it comes down to the Five of Stars, Three of Wands, the full moon not being able to move past, not being able to get past. You're stuck at this particular crossroads of what the whole story is about. That has to do with like this part, Three of Swords, forgiving, letting go. Ace of Swords, the negative mentality towards these. Queen of Swords, Five of Wands reversed, Five of Swords upright, Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands is the accountability. The Five of Swords is the Five of Wands is the not wanting to do it. And the Five of Swords is like not getting it really, not really. Like it confuses them when they have to go into that mental state. Because especially once the Queens of Swords reverse types, right? So it's like not all women are like this, but like some of the ones that are kind of ruin it for everyone else because they give the women a bad name and the men's like think that all women are like that and all women hate us, right? As men, right? But it's just like some of them and then other women latch on to it because of the herd mentality thing. And they want to be agreeable with their be on team women, right? So that's the bigger issue is that we keep wanting to be team man, team woman, blah blah blah. And it's like, dude, if we were really on team men, then we would be calling each other out for all the stupid shit that we're doing. And like we have to stop the abusers. Like that's the end of the story. It's like we're not really men until we do that. I'd say we're still little boys playing around until we like figure out the fact that we have to fucking deal with these corrupt motherfuckers. Basically, you know, that's the end of it. And it's like, what's the way to do that? And from what I've learned, from what I've seen, it's like Page of Rings again, right? Is like starting over financially. Like we have to change. We have to build a much more simpler economic model, I'd say. One that isn't like based around usury. That's the thing that'll get me off mainly is don't fuck with the money. So I'm just trying to give you guys a tip here. If you want to change the system, you want to get, the women to respond, you gotta like, we gotta make some sacrifices, mainly to our egos. And the ego is telling you all about all your deepest, darkest desires there, right? Nine of Men's. Like, you want all these, like, negative, kind of shitty, evil things, slightly evil things. Like, it's your desires, guys. It's like all tied into the desire point. That's why it's like come out this way. Yeah, we have to get back to this point where we're honoring Mother Earth and all of its daughters, all of her daughters, right? Queen of Pentacles. It's about starting over financially, removing the desire from yourself. Nine of Moons reversed. Take it away. And replacing it with an honoring your mother, honoring your mothers, really. All the way up and down the spectrum, right? Like you have to like honor all life, really. That's it. That's the real way out of this. We gotta take a look. We gotta start over. Start something new when it comes to money. Meaning like we need a system that doesn't leave anyone behind. That it has all the small details worked out. We have to remove desire from that system. It shouldn't be about desire. It should be about honoring life. So I'll leave this reading here for now. And I'll pick it up again later tonight, maybe. Thanks for being here with me on this. Coming back around, starting over, picking up where I left off. Thank you.